last till the sunrise? One night, can we last till the sunrise? One night, can we last till the sunrise? One night, one night, can we last till the sunrise? One night, can we last till the sunrise? One night, can we last till the sunrise? One night.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hey folks.
Welcome back. We're glad to see you. Welcome back to our channel. So I'm Mark,
And I'm Marlene.
and we are telling you what we think about Rwanda. We are in East Africa, and in fact, we want to speak about that business of East Africa as a region,
Right.
because it's sort of, we noticed that several months ago, we've been here almost a year, that there has to be this situation with regards to the regions. And so we're gonna just talk about that and riff about that just for a short video here. At least that's what we're saying. We're gonna see what happens as we go along. I wanna start it off by just speaking to the United States. So I realize we're talking about the states in a country. And what's interesting is I'm from Illinois, which is known as the land of Lincoln. And the thing is, in Illinois, I did not walk around saying I'm from Illinois a lot when I was in other parts of the United States. I might say Illinois, but I kind of backed off of it a little bit. You know why I backed off of it?
Why?
Because people would mispronounce it. They'd say Illinois, like there's E on the end, and we'd say there's no noise in Illinois. It's a French word.
Right.
They're the Fighting Illini and so forth. What we would tend to say after a while, because that was very frustrating. I just, oh my goodness, that was, it just rubbed me the wrong way. And my buddies who I grew up with, these are 6 guys that we've all known each other some 50, 55 years. We still text back and forth. They'll probably send one while we're doing this video, as a matter of fact, joking with each other. But we did not like that. So we kind of segue to just saying we're from the Midwest. And when we say Midwest, we're talking about from probably Ohio to maybe Missouri, Michigan down to Arkansas, something like that. Used to be known as the Big Ten in terms of sports conferences. But it's funny how we would relate more readily to a region.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have, like you say, people coming from all over the place, but they say that because it's an association for them. They can associate with that particular area.
Yes, they can associate, and they're looking for a way to categorize and like put you in a genre. Like Old Tower Records would have the cupboards where the music was, and you could go by a genre and look up. Well, what's interesting, what that has to do with the price of tea in China is way early on in our stay here in Africa, I'm thinking countries, but we noticed just an anecdotal observation. We didn't poll or survey, but it seemed like people had this kind of regional thing going on, as well as a little bit of one Africa. So I found that to be a similarity with regards to my own growing up in the Midwest.
Right, because I know they even say south, east, north in reference to Africa. So it kind of parallels in reference to the states, you know, they say that. So.
Yeah, and it seems like they work together. Now, obviously, we're talking about countries that are within a continent.
Right.
Another thing is when I would speak, and there have even been some commenters who talked about my my speech. I guess I'll just call it my accent. And she actually complimented me. Thank you very much. The compliment was that I sounded a little bit, or had a cadence. I'm not sure. I don't want to put words in her mouth. Like former President Obama, who, although he was born in Hawaii, actually grew up in Illinois. And so the speech pattern, which I don't even recognize myself, I think you may have tried to tell me about it a little bit. You haven't been born on the East Coast and then lived all over the country and in Europe. But we refer to it not as a Illinois accent, even though that's the state I'm from.
Right.
We refer to it as a Midwestern accent, which includes all those states that I was talking about earlier. And what that has to do with East Africa is I've kind of noticed that the people speak languages from a region point of view, where Swahili is not so big as far as I could tell up here, just anecdotal observation, but where you had the French colonizers come in, you have French here, you have, of course, the main language, Rwanda, and so they kind of work it from that perspective, and a blend of things is what I've noticed. I should have wrote down those languages to think about that. But these are just things that we were observing, which is, it's similar to the United States, even though those are states within a country.
Yeah.
It's still, when you have people like the Northeast in the United States, the Southern,
you have people from, like you say, New York. When you come upon people that are from New York or from Boston, you know
good one. That's a good one.
There's a big difference in the way they sound. Even people from New Jersey, there's just a difference in how it sounds. When you go down to North Carolina, it's a southern kind
you get
of
that
drawl.
twang.
And then you go to Texas. So it's amazing when you're in different areas, people do sound different. And they might get on you about that, but it's nothing you can do about where you were born and how the language comes about as it is here. Yeah.
I wish I was more into sociology, because there is something that's going on with people, whether you're talking about states within a country like the United States or countries within a continent, because there's this regional blending that takes place. And I know there's even drastic differences, although we haven't been there, but it's on your list, in Italy, southern and northern Italy, with regards to the climate and the way people interact, the foods they eat. And so I was noticing that here, I guess it started popping up, and I just wanted to sit down and think about it just a little bit. And our audience is mainly the United States, and so there are individuals who come with that frame of reference to try to dissect this thing called, that's why we refer to it so much as Africa. One of the reasons. Because when I'm sitting in St. Louis, Missouri, or if I'm in Los Angeles, California, rarely, unless somebody's really interested, are they asking the country in Africa.
Yes.
We just sort of say Africa, and I know it's arrogant, it's sad, but it is what it is, and that's the way we kind of view things. And so I'm trying to present things in a lens that might be helpful for folks back home. Folks have asked me, and it's often in the descriptor, or people could tell where we were. We're in Rwanda. Well, where is that located? Everybody gets out the map and stuff like that to try to get a feel for it. It's the heart of Africa. How about that? So just some thoughts there. When I was talking about the blending of people, I'm thinking about some of the friends and associates we've met who are here.
Right.
And what I found is it kind of reminded me of Los Angeles, where nobody's really from Los Angeles. But,
everywhere, Europe, everywhere. It's like when you go to LA, it's almost like you've got all the continents literally in LA. I mean, Australia, Asia, everywhere. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and so and then here, so I was a little surprised to find that people I thought were Rwandan would say, well, actually, I was born in Burundi, or or Congo. And then we got into this thing where a friend of mine was asking, how do you pronounce it? Is it Uganda or Uganda? And so I've asked different people, but it depends on where they're from, who's answering it. If they're from the Congo or something like that, they give me a different answer. Others were saying, well, Western has westernized it, and they say Uganda, but it's really an Uganda kind of a thing. I don't know. I'm not telling you what it is.
Right.
All we're telling you is these are some of the cultural observations you begin to notice that they're not earth shaking. They're not going to cost you any money per se, but you just become aware of them. And that's how things go about. But it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like the guy who does my locks, and you got to go over to the
That's
to the
right.
beauty
I
salon.
plan on it. They keep saying they give a good shampoo, so.
Oh my gosh, yes, and they do the massage.
Yeah, so
Oh,
hopefully
it's
the next week,
fabulous.
yes.
Oh, it is fabulous. Fanny's great. But she owns the place. But anyway, so she has this guy, and he's speaking to me. We do the best we can with Google Translate because I don't speak French. And he's from Congo, actually. Yeah,
yes.
and so, or then there's our friends who we hope to have on the show here pretty soon, who are young adults, and they're gonna talk about what tips they would give to Americans, or what principles and things that they have thought about, because these are some really respectable young adults.
Yes.
But they'll tell you where they're from, where they were born, Burundi and things like that. So it's going to be quite interesting to have them. But it's just amazing, though, that you have so much going on, which is really nice. I
Yes.
think. Yeah. So just
A lot
something
gives
to
you a lot
consider.
to talk about, so. Yeah, when you're meeting people, or you see the similarities also. So.
Yeah, because when people, when I was more involved in working, and you're at a conference or something, they say it's a networking opportunity,
Yeah.
and you interact with people. What's funny is we as people actually have more similarities than we want to acknowledge at times. And if we would just take time to really delve into each other, we'll find the similarities. And I guess I'm saying that I find it similar, that there are the regions of the United States, and they're not carved in stone. That's the thing about cultural things. They're not written down necessarily, but they impact the way you live your life. And that being from the West in the United States, or as you mentioned, the Northeast, and the ways of speech, people telling me I shouldn't say soda or pop and all that kind of stuff, or drinking Dr. Pepper in the morning. What's interesting, though, sadly, but I'm going to go ahead and say it, is this business of how Africa as a continent arrived at country lines. Now, this isn't a history class, a college history class, but let's put it like this. They didn't exist before the colonizers. I'll just lay that out there like that.
Yeah, the border lines. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had the tribes and people were living well, and maybe they had some infighting, maybe they had a lot of infighting. But the deal is, people could come and go. So you had the Bantu tribes traveling from the east to the western part of the continent, of which we found out doing the DNA that were associated. And my people were coming from East Africa. And yes, they moved all over. And yes, we have that Igbo, IGBO, that kind of a thing going on in terms of Nigeria, but prior to the transatlantic slave trade. But the deal is that the bottom line is the country borders were placed there by colonizers, not by the people who really are the indigenous people here of the land, of the continent, the locals. Our people did not create those things. So that's kind of a rub that I don't know. So it kind of feels funny to hear people talk about it in terms of those borders for countries when they really didn't exist, and they were placed on people. Let's put it like that. It wasn't the natural progression to have that. Another regional thing is, so we went to Uganda, UGANDOA. Anyway, whatever it is, and so we were there. And that was great, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
We should do a video probably on that trip, and wow, the things that we saw. And
It was good passing the border and talking to the people and all the things that we had to do. And so, it was good.
Speaking of passing the border, here's the thing. So they gave us, and especially one of our sons, he got to keep his for a little while. I think they call it what is it, East Africa and passport
I think, yeah.
or visa. Yeah, it's like we have a U.S. passport, we have a visa, and when we're in Uganda, they have this thing of the working together of like Rwanda, Uganda, I forgot what other countries. Oh goodness. I'm not sure if it's Tanzania, but anyway, but the point was there's a collaboration of working together. And that's such a good thing because they're trying to really, well, let's put it like this. Anytime people work together, that's a good thing. And so I guess what I don't know, just what I'm finding is that if you come locked in, depending on where you are, we hope to visit Morocco, you want to see Botswana,
Yes.
Madagascar, Namibia, and things like that, places like that. Don't forget the importance of that regional influence and what's going on there. In fact, God has blessed us with some property that is further south, as a matter of fact. It's not in this country, but it is still in this region.
Right.
And we're really excited about that. Really, really excited about that. It's a lifelong dream come true for us. So what we'll need to remember, though, is it's still part of a bigger picture or larger region.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
Yes.
I'm reminded of some YouTubers who, like Nikki Bird, Wodomaya, and let's see, Africa Investment Company, and so forth. One thing that I hear a lot, and it's sad, but it's kind of foreign to my ears as a Black American, and that is one Africa. It's sad because I should be naturally inclined that way, I think. We as a people, I think, ought to be naturally inclined that way. And it's so refreshing and it's so exciting to me to be able to see these YouTubers who are big name people.
Yes.
But they're trying to work toward, now I'm not saying they're the only ones, don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying here. All I'm indicating is it's all around you if you really open your eyes. The push, the momentum toward one Africa. I think it could be really beneficial if you're in Great Britain, if you're in Jamaica, if you're in Canada, if you're in the United States, if you're thinking, I'm going to return home to Africa. Some of the thoughts that I have. And lastly, one of the things about well, not the total last one. One of the things about this business of East Africa as a region, now this is not cool. It might rub you the wrong way. Don't let it trigger you. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. All right, so we thought people just pop YouTube videos up and they make $1 million. Wow, yeah, it doesn't work like that.
No, it's you have to do a lot of work to get to that point.
Yeah, and what Marlene is saying, some of that work is involved in just how you title things.
Right.
And sadly, the title of a country, depending on which one it is within Africa, is going to get more attention from the algorithm than if you mention a region. How do we know that? Because there are tools that are available for YouTubers to access where you can put in a title and see what kind of readability it has, SEO that it has, and this thing that is the emotional.
What's SEO?
Oh, no, you didn't do that to me.
And you go algorithm. I hear these words all the time. Sometimes I don't always remember what they mean.
Okay, so I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself. I'm gonna, because I'm having just a moment here. Yeah, I'm having a moment here. But the deal is, I know y'all know what it is, but I'm gonna put it in the link or have it go across the bottom of the screen. That's always cool, right? To do that, have it go across the bottom of the screen. Not to mention that I was an IT professional for over 10, 15 years, but that was back in the Flintstone age. So anyway, it's just not coming to me right now. But I tell you this, the algorithm is like the Matrix, the movie, The Matrix, and there's this thing. And so it decides what pops up on your feed.
Okay, that's
And
clear.
so if, for example, people just think, no, I won't accuse people. I used to think, well, people just putting up videos and it makes money, right? Wrong. What the deal is actually, if an individual has an audience from Australia, they will actually make more money than an audience from the United States or someone whose audience is primarily Africa. Part of that reason is because the payment is based on advertisers, people who put up the ads in the YouTube videos that you see. And so there's more purchasing power, apparently, from Australia than actually the United States or a country in Africa. So when you throw that in, and then it depends on the topic that an individual is sharing about. If the topic is finance, or if the topic is just scuba diving, well, you're going to get larger, the bucks for advertising for a video that has a topic of finance is going to be like this, whereas the budget for ad dollars for scuba diving or equestrian or something might be down here, because there's just the topic. So it's not only the audience, it's the topic, it's all a whole bunch of things that go into a complex algorithm that determines how that is played out. So what you want to do when you title a YouTube video is you want to have it actually the algorithm friendly, meaning you want the title to be one that will pop out to people, and the algorithm is the thing that actually helps you, and it's deciding that, and there are tools to help you to do better titling and topics and things like that. So believe it or not, we could actually get more views if we say East Africa rather than Rwanda. Now, what I have to say about that is, and this is where we're going to close it up. Again, I said it earlier, our audience is mainly from the United States. That's where we're from. Right. Love the folks in Great Britain. In fact, they really listen to our podcast. Yeah. We had a lot of people from there and got to talk to people from Great Britain and other countries, Japan. But our audience is mainly them. Our audience is the diaspora. And the frame of reference is we would just like them to consider Africa.
Yes.
Where in Africa? We really don't care.
Yeah.
But
it's all beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's all where those of us from diaspora are from.
So, yeah, geez, what a concept. So those are the things that we're thinking about and where we're coming from. And we just thought we'd give you some observations with regard to this business of the regions in East Africa. And we do find that there are the similarities about regions that are not just found here and they came to our attention, but they're found where we came from, and we also in our minds can think of other places. Give us a 1 in the comments. You don't even have to say a whole lot. We're going to go binary here. 1 is for yes, 0 is for no. But give us a 1 if if it resonates with you, this business of, hey, you know what? The regional thing, whether it's Africa or whether Italy or whether it's in Europe or whether it's the United States or whether it's a prefecture, I forgot how to pronounce it, in Japan, what region, give us a 1 if it resonates with you. You know what? Wow, people do tend to do things by regions, even though there are these things called borders or country or state lines. That's the formal thing. But the region thing it's like, yeah, it pops a little bit. I see what you're saying. If not, then, put the 0, okay? Well, folks, I think that's about it.
Yes.
We're glad that you tuned in. We want to thank you so much for being a part of the audience and viewing this YouTube vid. We ask that you would indicate what you thought in terms of 1 or 0, 1 being, yeah, this regional thing resonates with me.
Right.
We also ask that you would share this. Share this with others, or at least like it. All right?
Subscribe.
Yes. Well, until next time, take it easy, y'all. Thanks.
Bye.
One night.